So today we are going to move on to the third session of this course, which is on AI agents. So in this third session, we are going to be building an AI agent. So in the last session, we looked at building two AI agents. Each of them works independently. Okay. So in this session, we'll be looking at something much more detailed. Minutes. It's structure of this. Just a minute, please. I'm going to be sharing my slide. Okay, so this is what we are going to be looking at in this third session, structured outputs. So shape the results, save it to a file. So in this session, we are going to be, performing a particular task that the agent is going to be doing, and the result of that task is going to be saved in a file. So in this session, we are going to be writing a blog. The agent is going to be writing a blog post. It's going to give us something predictable. So let's say a title with an introduction of exactly 3 sentences, 3 bullet points, and a call to action. It gives you something usable. Structure returns an agent from a writer into it. So anyway, in this session, the agent is going to be writing into a file, and we are going to see how that is going to happen. By the end of this section, you're expected to be able to do the following. Number one is to write an expected output, which specifies structure, not just topic. So what that means is we are going to be defining what the expected output of what the agent is going to be returning. We'll be defining it. So let's say, for example, we want the agent to be able to write into a particular file. We are going to define that, and the agent is going to create a file and write into it. Then also we are going to be using the use underscore file, we are going to be able to use output underscore file to save results automatically. Okay, and that's also back up what I was mentioning earlier about structuring what file does the agent write into and how it does that. So how it does that is, we are going to be specifying what the output file is going to look like. Then also we are going to use the kickoff. Don't forget, we talked about the kickoff earlier in our sessions as the function that we use to put the agent and the task together to be able to run and ensure that the desired output of what we want, the agent is able to achieve it. Then also we are going to decide when to prescribe structure versus leave room for creativity. So that is, we are going to be able to, define when do we prescribe a structure, that is how we want the agent to run, or when do we leave room for creativity, that is we leave everything to the agent to be able to do what it can do to its best. So sometimes, as a person, as an individual, for example, we are given a task and you are given a specified way on how to do it. Okay, so that specified way of how you are given a task to do limits your creativity to doing it as how you are expected to do it. But if you are given, you are just told to do that thing without giving a specific structure, then that means you could decide to do it in the best way you can. That is, you are given room for creativity to implement it in the best way you can do it. So how do we choose between both for an agent is also something you'll be able to understand by the end of this session. So in this session, we'll look at the expected output. The expected output is not a description. We talked about description in our previous classes. The more precisely you describe the shape, that is the sections, the line count, and the format, the more reliable the agent delivers. So that is, the more details you give, the more context you give to an agent, the more precise it acts. But if you do not give it, this detailed information, it just does it in the best way it can. It just does it how it feels like it should do it. because you've not described on how to do it. So it's just like telling someone, get me food, okay, get me maybe rice and plantain, or rice and chicken and something like that, without telling the person what amount of rice should he get or where should he get it. So this person can just say, okay, well, I want to get this particular food, then maybe I take a bus to travel out of the state to, another state where I can get this. So because you've not given this person the adequate information, so where that information is needed, it will lack it, and then it will do it in how it feels like it should. So then also we are going to be adding the output file. The output file is the file where the response of the agent is going to be stored. So CrewAI writes the final results to this automatically. No manual file writing code needed. So it's right into that file. So the architecture of this is we have the task interacting with the agent, and then we have the output of the agent in a file. So we can expect this as a code anatomy. Number one, the expected outputs. So we are going to be defining how we want the expected output to look like, and also the output file where the agent is going to write into. Then okay, the agents follow the contract, that is the LLM uses expected output as a template to plan the answer. And then also kickoff. I guess you have a question.
Yes, sir. Okay. I was not seeing the changes in your slide, but I can see it now.
Oh, okay, you can see it now. Okay, so the expected output list sections. So the expected output is the expected information we want the LLM to return. How do we want this information to be structured? That is what we put in the expected output. The output file is the file the agent is going to be writing into, like I mentioned earlier. And also we have the agent follows the contract, that is LLM uses the expected output as a template to plan the answer. So don't forget, expected output is the format. What does it write first? Is it the introduction? Is it the explanation? Is it what does it write? So that's what the structure of what it writes. Then the kickoff is the one that combines the agent and the task to ensure that the task is really implemented. Okay, so this is what the expected output is supposed to look like. A catchy title, 3-sentence intro, a bullet point, and so on. Look at that as well. Write a professional. So this is a task. Write a professional CV for a fictional Amina Yusuf, a Python developer with 3 years experience, applying for a senior role. A CV with summary skills and so on. Okay. So look at this. We jump into the code right now. So these are some of the common errors, like we've always been talking about. So let's jump into the code right away. So just like we did in our last class, the first thing to do when working on any Python project is to import required libraries. So one of the libraries from CrewAI, we import agents. Don't forget, this is the function we use to define the agents. We import crew, we import task, and then we import process. Then the next thing also is you are going to import load _.env. And that's because our credentials, like the API key, is being stored in a .env file. So we want to load that file in our Python code so that you can be able to access the API. So I'll say from .env, sorry, .env imports load.env. Okay, so then we invoke the function load.env. Now the next thing is to specify the Gemini model we need. Gemini model. Gemini model we need. So here we have okay, so this is the Gemini model we need. Now the next thing is we are going to create the agents. Okay, we create the agents, and because the task we want to do here is to write a CV, so we are going to call the agent CV writer. To create the agent, we use the agent function to do that. Don't forget that the first argument that goes into this function is the role. Here we have then the next thing is the goal. So the goal is to write well structured professional CV. Okay, that is that. Then the next thing is the backstory. So we call this. So for the backstory, we have you're an experienced professional CV writer who is experienced in writing a well-detailed CV for individuals. So then also we are going to have the LLM we are using, which is the Gemini model. So the next thing on this is verbals. Don't forget the verbals reveals the thoughts process of the agents. Okay, so that's that about CV writer. Then the next thing is the task. So here I'll say CV task equals task. The first argument that goes into task is description. So description equals this. So here I'll say write a short operational CV for a fictional person named Amina Yusuf, who is a 3-year experienced Python developer. named Amina Yusuf. Who is a 3-year experience Python developer. So this is the description of the person that um that's we are writing the CV for. The agent is going to be writing the CV for. Applying for a senior role, a senior developer role. Okay, so the expected outputs. So here we also have this argument called the expected output is going to be multi-line string. So in the expected output, we have the following, all of which is define the CV to have the following structure. So this expected output is useful when we want to define how do we want our LLM to respond. What type of output do we want the LLM to respond with? So the first is going to be summary. So CV includes that summary, skills, experience, then education. Okay, and education. So that's just that. So after that, the next thing we want is the agent itself, the agent that is going to be implementing this. I'm going to put this forward. Okay. So here we have the agent function equals to CV writer. So don't forget that the agents we are talking about is the CV writer that we defined up here. And the next thing is the output file. That is, where is this agent storing the output? So we put it here. Output file is what? Is Amina CV dot txt. Okay, so that is the task. The task is to write a short professional CV for a fictional named Amina Yusuf, who is a 3-year experienced Python developer applying for a senior developer role. Then this is this expected output. The expected output is expected to have skills. So have summary followed by skills, experience, and education. Then the agent is the one we've just defined up here, CV writer. And then the expected output is to be inside this text, and that text file. Okay, so the next thing is we want to put we are going to define the crew. Don't forget the crew is the one that combines the agent, the task, and how the agent executes the task, which is the process. So I'm going to crew equals to the crew function. So here we have agents. Agents, when we have multiple agents, we know we are going to put them there. CV writer. Then we have the tasks. So here we have CV task. Okay. Then we have process. Goes to don't forget we imported process up here. Okay, so you have process capital P process dot sequential. Process or sequential. So don't forget that process or sequential is like executing the task one after the other. Then variables equals true. Okay, so that's about that. And the next thing is we are now going to run the agent. So to run the agent, we store its output in result and then we print results. So I'm going to say results equals to crew, which is what we just defined up here. Dot kickoff. Kickoff, set the agent in motion to start running. Then we print the output, which is results. Okay, it is in this method that we can now run the agents. Okay, you have a question?
Yes, it's an observation. I think there's like a spelling this thing before you run the code in
Yeah.
the code
What's that?
description.
There is.
Line 19, line 9, the spelling of description, so that I should not throw an error.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's description. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for that. Description. Description is for output, agents, output file, agent tasks. Okay, yeah, thank you. So let's run this. So I'll say Python run Python crew class 3.py. Okay. Oh, was I sure it is? Wait a minute, let me check. So you don't keep coming with this same issue every time. Um. Anyway, let me pick install CrewAI. Okay. Okay. This is not what I was even supposed to use. But let this one finish. Let it finish installing. I think I have the virtual environment I'm supposed to use. Okay. Okay. So this is expected to run. So let's just wait for its outputs. Okay, great. So you can see its outputs here. Okay. Write a short provisional. Oh, okay. Oh, so this is the issue with the API, right? So it's saying the API is experiencing high demand, but eventually it wrote it, right? So you can see this here. You can see this is what the agent eventually wrote. So you can see Amina Yusuf, Lagos, phone number, email, LinkedIn, GitHub, summary, skills, right? Then experience. So you can see the experience, written, then the education here, right? So that's basically that. So yes, this brings us to the end of this session. We meet again in our next session to continue on CrewAI. So do you have a question on what we've done so far?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Have a
I
great
what we
day.
did today. Have a great night, sir.
Yeah.